Good morning. It's Wednesdays. I'm Wayne. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. This is the learn to use it part. Before we get started, the first thing I want to do, as always, is thank you for your time. And again, I say to you, the most valuable thing anyone can give you is their time. So thank you for giving us your time, and we're going to do our best to make sure your time is well spent. So thank you for showing up. We've been going over the history of capitalism and humans, especially in North America. And we've been studying Buckminster Fuller, or Bucky as he was fondly called, and we've been studying cosmography and critical path. So if you want to catch up, that's what we've been going through these past several weeks. As I said last week, we've been studying the past because the further you can look into the past, the further you can see into the future. And most patterns and trends are fairly predictable. I shouldn't say no one. I was going to say no one could have predicted this Chinese COVID pandemic what we're in right now. But some did predict it. It was the perpetrators who caused it, totally predicted it. In fact, they created it. Aside from those people who created this mess and caused it, the rest of us were pretty much caught totally off guard. So to me, when I look at information, I want to know if what I'm looking at, if I'm going to make a decision, is what I'm looking at a pattern and a trend, or is an aberration. If it's a pattern, I'm going to pay close attention to it to see if it occurs again. And it occurs again. If I can see events that are occurring, there's a pattern integrity to all these events. They're tied together somehow. Or they could be aberrations like this COVID. So what I want to know is it a pattern and a trend that I need to get in front of, or an aberration I can ignore? And the reason I study patterns and trends, I've told you before, but I'm fairly honest about my background. I went broke in 1985 and moved from Houston to Austin to start over. And I realized it was because I was arrogant, I was egotistical, I was obnoxious, and I was really quite uneducated. So I set out, I got hammered really badly. And I was beat up mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. It was just a mess. So I decided I was going to do something about it. And the first thing I did was take responsibility for my situation. It was easy to blame the Arabs for making oil cheap, and it was easy to blame the oil companies for importing it rather than drill. It was easy to blame the environmentalists for not letting us refine. It was easy to blame the bankers. It was easy to blame my ex. It was easy to blame the customers. There was plenty of blame to go around, but none of it was going to change me or my outlook. So my decision was for things to change, first I had to change. So I changed. I began studying not just myself, but business, finance, people, everything I could get my hands on. I started studying successful people because I heard this saying, success leaves clues, and my eyes popped open. And I realized that most of my problems came from my ego. So I decided to, as Bucky, who I've studied for decades now, said, it came time for him to commit ego suicide. So I got rid of my ego. I became a lifelong student. Sometimes I'm teaching. Most of the time I'm learning. So all I'm doing is passing on some things that I've accumulated, information and knowledge and facts and figures over the years, and hopefully it will help you the way it's helped me. So I started studying successful people. I spent tens of thousands of dollars and thousands of hours on myself, doing my best to clean myself up and get right so I could be of use or value in the world. So this is what part of this is about. Part of it is, to me, capitalism is based on giving. And most people I know that struggle financially because they don't tithe, they don't give back, they don't contribute. They're selfish individuals concerned only with themselves and their money and their future, and that's it. And most of the people I know, the true capitalists in my world, are extremely generous. They give their time, they give their money, they share their wisdom, knowledge, and experience. So that's part of what this is about. And where we are right now in terms of this series of educational programs is we've been through critical path, parts of it, not all of it, parts of cosmography. we've been studying migration of humans from the colonial times, how we came about getting our flag. We understand now the flag was it's actually the flag of the British East India Company, and it was modified to fit the United States of America. We studied how the migration went west. We studied the financial markets, how J.P. Morgan lent money to the U.S. and the U.S. raised taxes from citizens to pay him and it back. We talked about World War I was based on metals and tin, how it led to the crash, 1929 crash, what happened to the farms and how we created the Dust Bowl with that financing that was bogus, which happened again and again and again and will happen again. It's going to happen again and again. Here's what I know about the economy. It's going to go up and it's going to come down. And it's going to go up and it's going to come. That's all I know. And when and how bad, I don't know that. But I know it's going to happen. So most people prepare for the good times. I constantly prepare for the bad. You know, I feel like I have this dark gloom outlook on life. I'd rather be prepared than be surprised. I like surprises, but you know, the surprise of the economy tanking, bad surprise. So I want to be ready. Okay. So we talked about how that led to World War II and how the government took these created these or denoted these prime contractors. They shielded them, protected them, and paid them to get us into and out of the war. And what happened after that? So now we're into America becoming this capitalist society, which to me is incredibly cool because you wouldn't have all these great new inventions. We've blown past the rest of the world in terms of technology and the inventions and businesses and capital and the capital markets and finance and building this nation of tremendously incredible amounts of wealth. And so when people say to me, you know, there's not enough to go around, I say to them, scarcity only exists in people's minds. It does not exist in the real world. We live in a world of abundance and we can prove it. We've already proved it several times to you. We showed you how leverage and synergy work together. We built you the physical model called the tetrahedron that shows how leverage and synergy are not abstract theories. They're actually two generalized principles, facts, principles that work together in harmony. And once you understand the generalized principles, then you can understand how to build the business that works so you can work less. And I've read Michael Gerber's book. I like Michael Gerber a lot. I think Michael Gerber is a genius. Michael Gerber wrote a book called E-Myth. Then he revised it, E-Myth Revisited. And I think if you read that book, it'll have tremendous value to you and your business. So if it's okay with you, from time to time, I'll be recommending books that I got a lot out of that you might get a lot out of. If you haven't read Abilene Paradox by Jerry Harvey, please read it. If you haven't read E-Myth, please read it. So what Michael Gerber says in there is the business works so you don't have to. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I can do it for periods of time, but I think Steve Jobs proved to me, your business leaves, it's not the same business. You leave, it's not the same business. He left, it wasn't the same business. Came back, business changed and became Steve Jobs' business. So I think you can build the business that works better, more efficiently, more productively, so you can work less. But I'm in favor of this no work idea, believe me. I truly believe that hard work is a highly overrated activity. And I intend to do as little of it as possible. I also understand that businesses need leadership. They need decision makers. And understand that business makers, we need to make a better decision tomorrow than we did today. We need to make it faster. So that brings us to today. And what I promised you last week was the 7 steps to building or starting and building a business. These are basic fundamental steps. They're, you know, if you look at all the steps, you could make a list as long as your leg. There's a long list of things it takes to build a business, but you've got to start somewhere. So I thought, what are the 7 most basic steps that we need to know to start a business? So here's what traditionally happens. We get a job, we like what we do. If we're lucky, we love what we do. but the pay isn't that great. You got a boss who's not that great, and you decide one day to start out on your own. This is what Michael Gerber refers to as an employee having an entrepreneurial seizure. So it's the difference it's a mental mindset, because the public education system has a product. It's a business, and it has 3 assembly lines: elementary, junior high, and high school. And the product coming out of the public education system is an employee. People who will be good, do as they're told, make good grades, get a good job, work hard, say blah, blah, blah. That's a recipe for financial disaster. It is. That's why the middle class are disappearing, because that formula, it doesn't work anymore. It worked for our parents and grandparents, and some of you had parents or grandparents who went through that, followed that formula, and they gave their lives to their business, and they got a gold watch and a pension, and they got paid by the government and the company until they died. That worked for a generation, but times have what? Right. And everything is changing. The world is designed to change. People are designed to change. What do people resist the most? Right. So what I'm talking about is that formula may have worked back then. It's not working today. It's a proven statistical fact. The middle class wages have been stagnant for 30 years with no end in sight. In fact, it could get worse. So I'm talking about being in a capitalist society, and how do you start and run your own business? So one day the employee looks around and he says, oh my goodness, my boss is a total, complete moron. I can't take it anymore. I'm quitting. So they quit and they start their own what? Business, because they love what they do. The problem is they still have this employee mindset. So you can't solve a problem with the same education that created it. There's this mental block. So the transition from being an employee to a business owner is a mental transition. It's a mindset. It's a way of thinking and seeing the world that's unique to business people, that very few people possess. It's a mindset. It's a way of seeing the world and behaving in it. So that's what we're going to go into today. And I'll do my best to get through this in the next 50 minutes. I just burned 10 with my intro. So this is what we're going to go into. So if you're not interested, go ahead and go do something else. You can turn this off and move along. But this interests you, this is what I'm going to go into. So the first step in building a business is simple. Let's say we decide that we're going to become the next moron. We're going to quit working for the moron and become the next moron. Now, I'm being facetious at one level, but the truth is, the business has 3 purposes. First purpose is to give you your life. Unfortunately, most people give their life to their business. The second purpose is to solve a problem. The bigger the problem, the bigger the check. That's why CEOs make more money than secretaries. Not that there's anything wrong with secretaries. Everybody needs a good Donna. If you watch Suits, you know what I'm talking about. But we need admin, we need support, we need help, we need a team around us. So we need them. What I'm saying is the marketplace is going to attribute more value to a CEO who can make better decisions faster and keep a company profitable no matter what the economy is doing. And they're rewarded with more pay. That's how you say thank you in America. It's called cash. And so their positions are more highly valued. So the bigger the problem, the bigger the check. Okay? That's why one of the reasons Bill Gates is worth, I don't know, 60, 70 billion today, depending on what Microsoft stock did, because he solved a huge problem, getting his computers to communicate with each other. So the first thing to do, let's say you like your job or you totally love what you do. I see these guys coming to the house, they want to tune up the AC system. And they're up in that attic, and it's 100 degrees outside, it's 120 in the attic, and they're grunting and groaning, and they're sweating, and they're complaining about the heat. But they love what they do. And I got a lawn guy, this landscaper, this guy is so awesome. He takes so much care about cutting this grass and cleaning it up and trimming it and keeping the bushes and everything. He does it. He's just takes so much pride. You can tell he loves what he does. And I'm glad he loves what he does. And I got people that work for love what they do. So I know a lot of people, maybe you do too. You know anybody that loves what they do but struggle financially? You know, how many know people that hate what they do and thrive financially? So to me, the key is to love what you do and figure out how to monetize it. How can we do what we love and get paid well? If you think something wrong with getting paid well, turn the thing off and go away, okay? Because there's nothing spiritual about poverty. Nothing. So I want to do well by doing good. So this is how it starts. I didn't actually make the decision to become a business owner. My father and my brother decided for me. So after they fired me for the second time, why did they do that? After a while I figured it out. At the time I was fairly upset. But nonetheless, I barely got out of high school. Not a very good team player. I have no people skills. My people skills are so bad, I don't even care that I don't have them. That's how bad it is. People say to me, you don't have any people skills. So? So who's going to hire me to the point? That would be no one. So I started my own business. That was when I was 19 years old. So I've been doing it ever since. So here are a few of the things I learned. You don't like your job, you love your job, but you don't like your boss or your coworkers. You decide to start your own. What do you do first? Well, if you look at the model that you have, there's a tendency to go repeat that. So if you've got a group of people or a person around you that you don't like, what you've noticed is, what you've done is model yourself back to them, so the chances are good you're going to repeat it. So what we need to do is not just learn, but unlearn. So what is it we need to let go of? Because when you study people, there's two things you can learn. What to do, what not to do. Right? It's just as valuable to learn what not to do than what to do. So the first thing to do is go find a master. Maybe you've heard this saying, study at the feet of a master. Go find a master. Someone who knows how to do what you do or what you want to do. You may have heard the saying, study at the feet of a master. So this is where you give, become of service, become of use. You don't ask for money. It's not about how much you make, it's how much you learn. So you commit ego suicide. You let go of your ego, you become a learner. You've ever heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat? Curiosity didn't kill the cat. That's just one of those old, tired sayings that keep you poor and ignorant and of little to no use. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Curiosity made the cat smarter. Curiosity will make you smart. Be curious. As Bucky would say, dare to be naive. The most powerful thing you can do is ask questions, both of yourself and of others. There's a disease out there that's killing people right now. It's not COVID, but it starts with a C, and it's called certainty. This is the way it is. Really. How's it feel? How's what feel, Wayne? How's it feel to be so certain? So I'm pretty certain that you're not certain. Because the world is designed to change. So it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Being curious, being inquisitive, being naive, dare to raise your hand. This is the worst thing you can do in class. In the real world, this is imperative. Who's on your team? Do you have lawyers? Do you have doctors? Do you have accountants? Do you have professionals who can guide you, advise you, help you? Are you willing to ask for help? The goal is about winning. It's how to win, win, win. And a lot of times we're taught, be a good loser. Let me explain something to you. You show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. So it's about getting your act together. Mastery. Studying at the feet of a master. Someone who has mastered time. Because most people have never mastered the subject of time. They're constantly running late. I'm out of time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Constantly saying this. And mastering the subject of money. So if you want to master time and money, start your own business. You'll have the opportunity to practice these two subjects every day. So it's about time, money, working on yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. It's not about making money. How many feel there might be more to your life than just making money? Okay, thank you. Some of you feel there might be some reason or purpose to you being here. Okay, good. So to me, the goal is to get money handled so you can get on with whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. So let's go handle money. Once we handle money, we can buy our time back. That's why I don't cut my own grass. I got other better things to do than cut grass. And this guy likes it more than me. If he loves it and I hate it, I'm going to make both of us happy. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pay him a small fortune to do it. He's not cheap, but he's really good. And he loves what he does. Same with the pool guy. It's amazing how they agonize over the pH level. I'm like, what's the big deal? It's a huge deal. Because that matters about how it feels on your skin. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I hope this is making sense. So, it's about managing time and money. It's about this right here. So this is the business blueprint. This is what we're going to go into. Most people, when they say, what do you do? I'm going to teach you how to build your business. What they are is they're marketing people. They're talking about increasing the amount of your business. When people use the phrase, build your business, most of the times what they mean is increase the amount of your business. That's a marketing function. Marketing is one of the 6 components. So this is the business blueprint. This is for realtors. So this is the real estate business blueprint. We've also got another one just like this for entrepreneurs, business owners. So this shows the 6 components of a business and the definition and goal of each. So it's marketing, sales, production, customer service, bookkeeping, and accounting. And you've got to know all 6. And this is the pieces or components of a business. And once you master the pieces, you have what's called a masterpiece. That's your business. So we'll build it over time. Okay? Okay. So who do you know that does this? And who do you know that you can go talk to? It's about service. It's about giving. It's about supporting the master, hoping they will take you on, that they see in you something called drive, desire, ambition, and they're willing to give you some time, willing to give you some knowledge, willing to give you some wisdom. Excuse me. This was 1985, moved to Austin to start over. I got in the real estate business, knowing nothing about it. But I've been in sales since I was 16. I've been running businesses since I was 19. Some unsuccessfully, some quite successfully. But I didn't know how to list or sell real estate. There was a guy in my office that listed 197 homes in 1985 and sold 157 of them. To me, he was the master. So I studied with him. And I learned how to go out and take 2 to 3 listings a night, every night, and sell them all on the weekend in the middle of the biggest financial recession the country's seen. This is the S&L implosion of the mid-'80s. It started in the early mid-'80s and went through about 1992. About a 7-year recession. Excuse me. So that's it. That was the master. And then I met Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki asked me to come become one of the instructors. I saw my next master because I didn't know how to teach. I didn't know much about business. I didn't know much about relationships. And Robert Kiyosaki had this course, Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. Great guy. Traveled with him for years. Learned a lot. And all he wanted to do was support that organization. And people come to me and say, why are you working with them? They're not paying you jack. You work, you're on your feet 50 hours a week over 3.5 days, and you're traveling all around the world. And I'm like, yeah, what's the problem? I get paid to fly to Australia, New Zealand. That was my territory. And all I wanted to do was support those market centers and support those students and support that business and keep my mouth shut and learn, open up my eyes, open up my ears, and be thankful for the opportunity to be of value or of service. It wasn't about making money. It was about learning what I needed to learn and being grateful for the opportunity. This is studying at the feet of a master. Okay, so those are the 2. Now I'm at this phase in my life. I'm going into commercial, it's residential, it's commercial real estate development. And I don't know anything about it. So I have my new master, my friend Bill Shopoff, who's guiding me, helping me, teaching me how to do this. I'm about to go raise $10 million and go do my first project. So what I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, number one, find a master, do what it takes, serve, give, open up your eyes, open up your ears, open up your mind, and give, give, give. Capitalism is based on giving. Once you study to master, ultimately someday it will be time to take off and go on your own. So when you start looking for a business, what I'm looking for and what I suggest you look for. What's your niche? What is a niche? A niche is an untouched, untapped segment of the market. So windows of opportunity are opening and closing all the time. It's an untouched, untapped segment of the market. So when you start going into business to look at your product or service, where's the niche? Where's the opportunity? For me, I look for problems. As I said, a business has three purposes. Purpose number one, to give you your life. So you want to design your life. We've designed a business for you. You don't have to fool with this. But what we're going to suggest you do is sit down with your primary relationship and design your life. If you don't design your life, someone's going to do it for you. They'll be more than happy to tell you what to do for the next several decades you're on this earth. More than happy to tell you what to do. Some of you may have someone doing this already. Stop telling me what to do. No. So I'm going to encourage you, please, go design your life. This is what Lynn and I did. We got married. She'd been married before. I've been married before. We sat down. We said, okay, look. It looks like this thing has legs. We're going to commit to each other. We did. I mean, that was 35 years ago. But first thing we did was make rules. Rule number one in our house, everybody gets what they want. Everybody gets what they want. I'm not going to say to her, you can't buy that. You can't have that. It costs too much. It's too expensive. We can't afford. All those limiting beliefs and thoughts, please do your best to get rid of those. You got to clean up your mind. Clean it up. Get that stuff out of there. We live in a world of abundance. I'm not going to say to her, it's too expensive. I'm not going to say to her, we can't afford it. What am I, some dead dog loser who can't get by her wife what she wants? I mean, come on. We live in a world of abundance. Why should we be doing without? And I don't want her saying the same thing to me. You can't have that. You can't buy that. It's too expensive. It costs too much. We can't afford it. No. Everybody gets what they want. That's rule number one. Rule number two, you can't break the other rules to get it. Rule number three, before you buy anything that costs money, you got to buy something else to pay for it. Your assets pay for your liabilities. Your assets pay for your luxuries. We get rich through debt. Debt is good. There's good debt. So this is how we structured it. We designed our life, is my point. Then we designed the business to give it to us, and it has. So this is what I'm doing my best to tell you. This is not something cool or cute I read in the book that I thought it'd be good to repeat and take credit for. These are the things that Lynn and I have been doing for decades, and they work. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find a niche, an untouched, untapped segment of the market. Typically look for a problem. Your solution to that problem is the product or service. And the world is rife with problems because every solution creates another problem. So there's plenty of them out there. So you find this niche, and you got to figure out what business are you in. I talk to these realtors all the time. Realtors, because my wife and I own a real estate education company, the Real Estate Business School. It's a business school for realtors. Because the school system taught them to be employed. They don't know anything about how to run a business. So we teach them how to run a business. Then we teach them how to invest the profits. This is the model the wealthiest people in America use. That's what we do. That's what we teach. So I asked them, what business are you in? Real estate? No. What business? They have no idea what business they're in. Look, residential real estate has nothing to do with houses. If it was the house, it'd only be one floor plan. It's not the house. If it was the house, it'd only be one of them. They don't need to be, it wouldn't matter what they look like. But it's not the house. So I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, what business are you in? You've got to know what business you're in. What business are you in? Who's the customer? What's the product? Who's the competition? What's the message? But you got to find this niche. Typically, it comes from a problem that somebody has. Go find a problem, go find a niche. 1985, Steve Jobs found one of the biggest niches in the history of the world, computers. Now, is that niche right now, is it large or small? Well, the niche is huge, but it's full. I mean, you want to go start making laptops today? I don't think so. Why? It's been handled already. That niche is closed. It's full. Let's say you live near a high school. Would a malt shop or a hamburger shop or a pizza shop next to a high school be a good niche? Yeah. What if there's already 10 of them around the corner? No, it's full. So you have to find a niche. Untouched, untapped segment in the marketplace. So start, I don't know what you read, but read the financial magazines, read the journal, read Forbes, read Entrepreneur, read Fast Company, read The Economist, read magazines about business. You'll see companies having problems. You'll see people having problems. If you look around your house, most of the stuff you bought was to solve a problem that you had. You bought the car because it solved the problem of walking. You bought the phone because it solved the problem of going to someone's house and talking to them face to face. You bought the toaster to make your bread hot. Everything you bought, most of it, to solve a problem that you had. So look for a problem. You'll see a niche right in front of you. Once you find this niche, this untouched, untapped segment in the marketplace, go do your market research. Demographics, psychographics. Where's the competition? What's in the marketplace? Does this niche really exist? Do studies, do surveys, do lots of research. Google it, look for it, study it. Do lots and lots of research. Just because it's a good idea in your head doesn't mean it'll play in the marketplace. Just because it exists here doesn't mean it exists out there. I've had lots of good ideas in my mind, but they didn't work. Some of the marketing that we did didn't hit in the marketplace. So it's all about research. Do massive amounts of market research. See if you can figure out what's out there. And once you figure out the product, and the product is out there, then what you got to figure out is how you're going to leverage it. Can you leverage this thing, and how are you going to do that? So what's the definition of leverage? It's simply doing more with less. So how do you do that? Well, there's several ways to leverage. You have people, you have money, you have product, you have technology. Money, you borrow. You see a $500,000 property, and you've got $50,000. You put $50,000 or 10% down, and you use a lever called a loan to acquire the asset, the property, with 90% leverage. So borrowing is a great way. Problem is leverage cuts both ways. So you know that if you pay too much and you borrow too much, there's nothing anyone can do for you. So you can be over leveraged. So leverage cuts both ways. It allows you to do more with less. More with less, more with less, more or less. You got to wake up every morning and think, okay, how can I get more with less today? How can I get more done with less? Look, to me, when I see business people, and I look at us, and I'm talking to business people, we have resources, and we've got to be good stewards of our resources. And to me, our three most important resources are our time, our money, and our energy. And we have to deploy those and get the maximum amount back. So if you're going to run a business and you're going to oversee all this, learn all this, be in charge of all this, you got to get your productivity up. You've got to get your productivity up. So you don't do the work, you're responsible for the work getting done. So it's money, it's people. When I talk to people about people, they go, oh, people are a pain in the neck. You can't find good people. Okay. Well, doesn't say much about you, does it? You can't find good people? What's wrong with you? People, money, product, technology. You look at technology, I mean, we're doing this free on a little 3 by 5 inch device that's blasting it around the world. It's incredible how technology is allowing us to do so much more with so much less. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, look, the largest transportation company in the world owns no vehicles. The largest real estate company in the world owns no real estate. So obviously I'm talking about Uber and Airbnb. And robotics are going to take over the middle class jobs. Not just the mundane, repetitive punching or stamping of things. Everyone's job is up for grabs. So all I'm suggesting, ladies and gentlemen, is that what used to be safe and secure, go get a safe, secure job, those days are over. And building a business used to be risky. But today, getting a job is risky. And building a business is safer and secure. If you have a business education. But you've got to make this mental transition. It's a mindset, as I said in the beginning. It's a mindset of doing more with less to the point you do almost everything with almost nothing. But you've got to change the way you think. Like, if it is to be, it's up to me. If you want it done the right way, do it yourself. You got to work hard. You got to let all that go. Laziness is the key to success. I don't think about how hard I can work every day. I look around and go, how can I get out of doing this? How can I find somebody that would love to have this project so I don't have to do it? Look, all I'm suggesting is there's some things that you're excellent at, some things you're good at, some things you're fair at, and some things you're poor at. So I took all the things, I just did an inventory of my strengths. I did an inventory of my weaknesses. Everything that I'm poor at, I'm fair or poor or I don't want to do, I just don't do it. I give it to someone who's excellent at that job. As my dad once said, it'd be a dull world if we were all the same. So we're not all the same. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. So I hire people who are strong where I'm weak. And I'm strong where they're weak. And together we put the thing together, we get more done. So I'm talking about using time, money, people, product, services, technologies every day to do more with less, more with less, more with less, more with less, more with less. Go to the security store and buy yourself a pair of handcuffs and go home and handcuff yourself to the couch, the sofa, and run your business from there until it forces you to stop doing the work and be responsible for getting the work done. Okay, I hope that helps. More with less, more with less, more with less. How do you do this with people? We'll go into this next. You with me so far? More with less. Leverage. You have to leverage everything. Time, money, energy, people, product, services. Leverage it, leverage it, leverage to the hilt. How do you do everything with nothing? So you leverage this thing to the hilt. Next thing you do is you go out and you put your team together. When I say team, this is where the sole proprietors go nuts. They go, what? You can't find good help. Okay, that's an old obsolete mindset because there is an abundance of highly skilled, highly educated people out there. An abundance of them. So this is where I say you have to change your mindset. Okay? So if you have a thought, if it is to be, it's up to me. If you want it done the right way, you do it yourself. Nobody does it better. Then you're not ever going to be a business owner. You're going to be stuck in sole proprietor hell forever. There's a huge difference between being a sole proprietor and being a business owner. A business owner can walk away. A sole proprietor can't. They have to be the star of the show. The name has to be on everything. They're the person. They're the guy. They're the be-all, do-all. Everybody should report to them. That whole company is bottlenecked because no one can move or breathe or make a decision or buy a pencil or a stapler unless someone approves it. And that someone's got to be the guy or the woman. The boss. I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be the guy. I just want to be the owner of the business. Okay? It's a mental shift. I know that I'm only as good as my team. I'm crystal clear on this subject. There's some things I don't want to do, and I'm not going to do them. I haven't bounced a checkbook in 40 years. Why? I don't want to do that. I don't enjoy it. Haven't done a tax return either. You know why? I don't want to do it. I don't mean to sound arrogant or obnoxious, but I just design my life where what things that I'm not good at and don't want to do, I find specialists. So I'm a generalist who hires specialists. And my specialists that I hire love what they do. So we have 3 attorneys. We have a real estate attorney, a business attorney, intellectual property attorney. All highly degreed, highly skilled specialists. That business blueprint is registered with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. You rip that thing off, we're going to court. Because I already had to sue one of the major real estate publishers in the U.S. for taking that and putting it on the cover of one of their books, thinking we wouldn't do anything about it. So you have to have good legal advice. You have to have strong legal counsel. You got to have a team around you. You've got to have a team. No one succeeds alone. And you're only as good as your team. So you go out and put your team together. When I hear people say these things like, you can't find good help, they're so expensive, I don't want to manage people, all I'm hearing is, they're not saying it, but what I hear is, I don't know how to get the right people to do the right thing at the right time. And once you figure out how to get the right people to do the right thing at the right time, magic happens. Now, how do you do that? How do you get people to do the right thing at the right time? It's simple. You run your business systematically. You replace yourself with systems. Systems are the grease of organization. They make it run quietly and smoothly. So if you have a lot of drama in your company, you need to go see a shrink fast. Because business bankers, financiers, customers, vendors, they don't like drama. You got to get the drama out. You like drama, go jump off a bridge or jump out of a perfectly operating airplane or go do something that's dangerous outside. But get the drama out of your business. Get the drama out. Number 1, business is supposed to be nice and boring. Boring, boring, boring. Doors open, business starts, everything runs smoothly, business closes, doors open. That's it. Nice and boring. So you get the right people. You replace yourself with systems. You start right here. What's your system for marketing? How do you create ads? What kind of ads do you run? Do you understand the 4-step marketing formula? Do you understand the 4 marketing tools and how to apply them? Do you understand how to create a unique marketing position? Do you understand how to drive leads? Because marketing is the most important skill to have. It's the engine that drives leads into your business. It's the lifeblood of the company. Now, most people say sales is more important, the most important skill, but it's not. It's marketing. Because most people don't like salespeople. Even salespeople don't like salespeople. If you don't believe me, just ask them, what do you think about salespeople? They'll go, they're slick, they stick your money, they lie to you, they're less than truthful, they're obnoxious, they take your money, they don't deliver, and they say anything to get a sale, blah, blah, blah. So most people have a negative connotation on sales. So marketing, if the marketing is good, the sell is easy. If the marketing is poor, the sell is hard. So it's not about sales, it's about marketing. What business are you in? You've got to know the subject, right? Right. So marketing is the number 1 skill. So you write these ads. You place yourself with systems. The people run the systems, and the systems run the business. People don't run the business. It's all done systematically. We even have a system. We have a system where we hire the perfect person for the perfect job every time in 45 minutes or less with no interview. You don't need good people. You need good systems. You take ordinary people and create extraordinary results. Because at one level, we're all ordinary. We all have flaws. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So we want to set everybody up for success. So how do you get the right person to do the right thing? First, you got to hire the right person in the beginning. It starts with the first step. You hire a square peg and try to shove it in a round hole, it doesn't matter how good your systems are. You got problems from the get-go. So how do you hire the right people? We have a system for that too. We have a system for everything. Opening the mail, paying the bills, everything in the company is systemized. And the people run the systems. So you train the people in the systems, and the systems run the business. When we have a problem or a flaw, an upset, or something goes wrong, we don't go after the people. It's a firmly held belief that the people we hired are doing the best they can with the tools and information that they have. That's not their fault. We go to the system. And we look to the system first for correction. Did you follow the system? What happened? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you? No, I didn't do step 2. Okay, well from now on, here's how the system works. But you retrain. You redefine the task, retrain them, and let them go. If they continue doing this, now you've got a personnel problem. But that's the last resort. Start with the system. Everything in your company needs to be systemized. Our policy manual is that thick. It's a system for everything. How to answer the phone, what to say, here are the FAQs, here are your responses. Memorize. But everybody doing the same thing every time, same thing every time, as if I were there, as if Lynn were there. It's all systematized. Okay? So that's how you get the right people. But you got to hire from the beginning. We have a system for that. 45 minutes or less. No resume, no interview. We don't look at resumes because we know what's in them. It's called puffery. And we don't do interviews. There's no reason to do an interview. And I'll tell you why, because I'll quote Chris Rock here. The reason we don't do interviews, because when you meet someone for the first time, you're not meeting them. You're meeting their representative. You hire them, and 4 months later, like, what happened to the person who I interviewed with? What, you talking to me? You're lucky I work here. This place will fall apart without me. Really? Oh, yes. Okay. So just remember, every problem you've ever had or will have begins in the initial communication. Then you say to them, this is the way we do it here. It's a system-driven organization. If we have a problem, we'll change the system. If the system fails, we'll change the system. We'll do it by agreement. Everybody knows. But you look to the system first. If you want to know more about this, read W. Edwards Deming. The Deming Management Method. Another great book to get a lot out of. So we spend a lot of time on team because team is everything. It's everything. Your primary relationship. You get together with somebody else and you commit to each other. Two become one and you co-create. It's the highest form of evolution. When you get together with someone else and you go create something together. Co-creation. And you build your team from there. Yeah? Because you're only as good as your team. So we'll go into this. And once you get your team together and they get aligned, what happens is magic occurs. And you end up with this thing called synergy. Synergy is a magic that doesn't make any sense. It's a magic that makes no sense. So you probably heard in school 1 + 1 + 1. And in school it equals 3, but I built you a physical model a few weeks ago that showed it would equal 4. So synergy has two different definitions. One is it's the sum of the whole is greater than the parts. The sum of the whole is greater than the parts considered individually. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, if you answer 4 in school, they call you a moron and put you in special ed and call your parents and tell them they have a problem. But it can equal 4. Or 6, or 10, or 20. It depends on how much synergy there is in the organization. This is why you see some sports teams on paper look superior. But when they go out on the court, or they go out on the field, or they go out on the course, or whatever on the court, or whatever the sport is, when you have a team event, a team that's inferior on paper is superior on the field because they have synergy. So one definition is the sum of the whole is greater than the parts. The other one is the behavior of whole systems, unpredicted by the behavior of the individuals. The behavior of whole systems. The behavior of teams, unpredicted by the behavior. It's unpredictable by the behavior of the team members. It's the behavior of organizations, unpredictable by the behavior of the members. It's the behavior of the business, unpredictable by the behavior of the skills of the employees. So suddenly these people come together and suddenly you hire the right people to do the right thing at the right time. It's all harmonious. They're all committed to the vision. You have leadership that gives the company vision and talks about the goal of the company, the purpose of the company, the vision of the company, how we empower, how we survive by teaching other people to thrive, how all the products, all the services are designed to uplift, educate, engage, empower others to get better and better and better and better and better. And this is the vision of the organization. And it creates people that buy into that vision because most people want to contribute. Most people, when they get what they want when they want it, or get what they need when they need it, become benevolent. They become altruistic. We are chromosomically programmed to respond favorably toward one another. We want to be part of something. We want to give. We want to contribute. And when you get those people with that mindset together in a room or a building, and they work together, and they spend time together, and they get to know each other, the synergy takes over. Where it's a business organization, a church, a team, or a family, it creates synergy. And it's a magic that's unpredictable, that doesn't make any sense. But the result, you take ordinary people and it creates extraordinary results, way beyond the norm, unpredictable. So once you get this team, this mindset in your head, and once you get this real estate between your ears handled, and you get your mind right, you start thinking about, okay, who can I serve? What's my niche? Let me make sure by doing some research. Okay, how do I leverage this thing? How can I put my team together? And then your team is producing all this magic that doesn't make any sense. What happens is your productivity goes up, efficiency goes up, everything. All your stats start climbing. Okay? Now, as you can see, I totally messed this up because I misjudged the size. So I'm going to start over. So what we have first, see, you got to learn by trial and error. First you have a master that you study at the feet of. Then you go find yourself a niche. After you get the niche, what do? You do your market research to make sure that that niche is there. Once you find your niche, the question is, can I leverage it? How do I do more with less to the point I do everything with nothing? And what's one way to create leverage? How do you leverage it? Put your team together. We have a And I'll show you this. Your team creates the synergy that you need. There are two theories out there when we talk about teams. One is a team is only as strong as its weakest link. And we can prove we have a synergy game that we play. And it shows that this theory is false. So we show you how to build a team, how to create synergy, how to put a group of people together. And to get all this done, and what you get at the end of the day, what comes out of this is 0 results. And the results are twofold. You have joy and cash. Life gets fun. Life is enjoyable. And this is the result. Lots of joy, lots of cash. Repeat, repeat, repeat. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you build a business. Those are the 7 steps. I'll end the way I started. Thank you for your time. I hope this was of use to you. Today was brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. Your license guarantees you nothing. There are 3 steps. Get your license, build your business, invest your profits. It takes 3 types of education. The technical education required to pass the state exam, the business education with the real estate business blueprint that your clients expect you to have, and the financial education required to acquire real estate, make financial investments so that you can get your money handled and get on with whatever it is you're supposed to be doing while you're here. Technical education, business education, financial education. Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. This has been Wednesdays with Wayne. This is Wednesday. I'm Wayne. Signing off. See you next week. Let's go out and make it a better world. Thank you for your time.